So I'm recording how I'm making this raw lasagna. I don't have a recipe or anything. As always, I'm just figuring out this as I go along. I've not made a raw lasagna before, but I've had a few ideas in mind as to how I'd like to make it. This is really just going to be an experiment. So yeah, here I've got my onions, my dried onions. I dried them in a dehydrator. This helps to make the creamy sauce I'm about to make tasty. So I'm just going to put them into the blender. Then what am I going to use next? Okay, so the next thing I think I'm going to use is the guinea henweed. The guinea henweed is a herb that tastes a lot like garlic. Now this is a great garlic replacement. I don't like using garlic. If you are okay using garlic, then great. I wouldn't also advise using the guinea henweed if you are pregnant. It's strongly advised not to use during pregnancy because it can cause the termination of the pregnancy. But we're all fine on that front, so I'm going to put a little bit of that in the blender now to help give this sauce a little bit more flavor. So I'm just getting that in the jug. This has been a great discovery, this herb, for me. It's really helped to add the little bit of flavor that I was missing from not using garlic. But to be honest, if you wanted to just use the onions, that's fine. So yeah, I'm also using this sea salt. This is a smoked sea salt. Again, you don't have to use smoked sea salt. You can use regular sea salt. It's just one of my favorites at the moment. I think it adds a little bit more flavor that we enjoy. And then I'm also using the brown sesame seeds. That's going to be the base, the main base of the creamy sauce that I'm making. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. We'll just see. I'm just adding all these ingredients. I'm going to blend it up, and I guess we'll see how it turns out. So yeah, that's everything in the jug there. I'm going to go away. I'm going to blend it all up, and I guess I'll come back afterwards. So here you go. This is the mix. It's all blended up. I let the kids try some. They thought it was really good, so I guess that's fine. I wasn't sure if I was going to add anything else, but as everyone thinks it tastes delicious, I think I'm going to leave it like this. Oh, and I also forgot, I also obviously added water to this before I blended it. Okay, so now I'm going to start on making my tomato sauce. First, I'm going to put in my fresh tomatoes, which I've pre-chopped. I always put them in first because when the blender blends out first, I find it helps to get everything going. I don't need any added water or anything like that way. Then I'm going to add in some fresh red peppers. And I pre-chop these. I chop them pretty big because with the vitamix you don't really need to chop them down too much. Then I'm going to add in these. Let me see if I can really show it. Okay, so here I've got a mix of dried peppers, dried tomatoes, and dried onion. These I all dried in the dehydrator. You don't necessarily have to use these. I've made the tomato sauce plenty of times and it tasted delicious without them. For once I happen to be prepared enough to have made them in advance, so I'm obviously going to definitely add them in. It helps the flavor to be a little bit stronger and more intense, which I like. I feel like it gives it more of the flavor of cooked food when it's got that in there. Okay, so next I'm going to add in some of the salt like I used in the other video, but again you can just use regular sea salt. Next I'm going to add in some mullein. Now, this is just purely for nutrition. You really don't actually need this. Just some because we like to make sure we add in some nutritional herbs normally. Then I'm going to use the wild guinea henweed again. Again, you don't have to use this, or you could use some garlic if you preferred. This is just what I prefer to use, but it's completely not essential. So yeah, I'm just adding some of that into the thing right now. Okay, then next, I'm gonna put in my more fragrant herbs. I'm gonna add in some dried basil. You could use fresh basil. I get mine from either normally Natural Grocers or Mountain Raised Herbs, or what's the other place I get them from? Star West. I normally try and make sure they're pretty good quality. Now, I wanted to add in some oregano, but I literally can't find it right now. So I don't really have the time to go look for it. So I'm just going to use what I have to hand. And I'm using some dried thyme. But yeah, you can use fresh herbs if you prefer. This is just what I had in. So I think that's everything for this. So I'm just going to go blend this up now, and then I'll be back in a minute once it's all blended. Yeah, there you go. There's all in the blender right there. Okay, it's a mess on the side from all those herbs. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. I blended up the tomato sauce. I tasted a little, and it's really good. It's got a really nice, strong, intense flavor. So that's going to go really good with everything else I'm about to mix in. So yeah, I guess I'm going to get everything else together and then show you all that I'm mixing up to make my tomato layer. Oh, and I almost forgot, I did actually also add in one date to this. I was just about to blend it and then realized I forgot about the date. I always like to add a date. I find it, I know, it just adds a little bit more flavor to it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you all that's going in my tomato layer. This is going to be kind of like in the style of what I guess people would call a meat sauce. So what I'm using for this is my sprouted wild rice. So this is raw, but it's been pre-sprouted. So for a few days I've been soaking it in water. I change the water twice a day, and then over the course of a couple of days you'll find that it starts to split just like when you cook it, and when you eat it, it's not hard and crunchy, it's soft and tastes really just like when you cook it. So to this I'm going to add some mushrooms, but these mushrooms I've put in the dehydrator for a while. Okay, so I messed up a little bit, I'm a little irritated. I thought this was recording and it wasn't. So literally all I just showed was I had some chopped up mushrooms that were partially dehydrated, which makes them taste more like cooked mushrooms. But you could just chop up some raw mushrooms and just throw that in if you don't want to bother with dehydrating them. And then I mixed those with the tomato sauce I poured from the jug that I just made up, and let's just mix it together. So all this is the sprouted dried rice, the mushrooms, and the tomato sauce. So yeah, that's everything. So yeah, all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get everything together and I'm gonna assemble the lasagna. So I'll show you what I'm doing there. Okay, so I've got my lasagna pan here now. So I'm just gonna get putting all this lasagna together. So first I'm gonna get some of my tomato, I'm gonna call it tomato sauce, but it feels weird calling it meat sauce. So yeah, I'm gonna get some of the tomato sauce and spread it all out. As you call it, just a tomato mushroom sauce. And by the way, if you're not comfortable using sprouted rice, you really don't need to. You could just do the tomato sauce and the mushrooms, and it really would come delicious. I just find that with the rice, it really makes it feel like you've got the kind of like minced texture that people are used to, you know, of the kind of the minced beef. And although the food doesn't have to taste obviously like the original, what it was based on, but sometimes I just find that helps with certain people when they're transitioning to have some of the familiar or more familiar, it's not even going to be exactly the same, but more familiar textures and flavors that they're used to. Okay, so next I'm going to do what would normally be the lasagna layer. Now most people tend to use zucchini, which they thinly slice, and that's a really good option. I just wanted to try something out a little bit different to see how this works. It's a little bit of a gamble. So what I've done is I've thinly sliced with the mandolin slicer some butternut squash, and I've put it in my dehydrator just for a little while. And I'm putting it in the dehydrator just for a few hours. It doesn't make it crunchy. It just makes it softer. So I think it might work pretty good. I've made cooked lasagna before with squash, just like this, and it came out really, really, really good. Now it's not going to be exactly the same, obviously, because this is a raw version, but I figured that just like it worked before, it might work again in this raw one. And I just like to try things out that are different, just to see what works. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep covering this over this meat layer, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys in a minute, because this is gonna be pretty boring watching me cover the whole layer. And then I'll come back to you in a minute when I'm putting the cheese layer on. Okay, so now I'm just putting the creamy sauce on. I'm just gonna coat this over the butternut squash that I finished putting on. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep putting this on. I'm not gonna record the whole thing because I think that's gonna be kind of boring again. So yeah, so that's all I'm doing now. I'm just coating all of this layer in this. Okay, so now that is coated in the creamy sauce, I'm gonna just go back to doing this job again, just coating it with the butternut squash. So I'm just gonna go ahead, coat it in all the butternut squash, and then show you again in a minute when I'm doing the next layer, just because I really don't want to bore you guys with putting all this on like this. Okay, so I'm back again, guys, and all I'm doing here is just coating this with the rest of the tomato sauce I got. Don't really have as much as I'd like, so it's going to be a pretty thin coating, but that's fine. And then once I've finished trying to spread this out, I'll come back to you again and let you know what I'm doing next. Okay, so right now I've got my lasagna in the dehydrator. I just put it in there for a couple of hours just to warm up, not really to dehydrate so much as to just warm up, to give it the familiar warmth that you'd normally expect from a lasagna. And then now I'm just doing the final topping, which will be like an avocado basil on top. So I've got the avocados in there. You can see the red onion that I dried, and then I've got some lime in the bottom, some key limes. I also put some of the guinea hen weed in there. You could not use that, or just use some garlic if you wanted instead. Okay, so I've got some sea salt in here as well, and a pinch of cayenne. I think that's everything. Yeah, so just oh, and the basil. I don't know if I said the basil already. So yeah, so it's just basil, lime, dried onion. You could use fresh or some onion powder. It's got the avocado, cayenne, and the salt. And I'm just going to blend it up right now, and then I'm going to put it on the top of the lasagna. Okay, so this is the lasagna. Now I've just taken it out of the dehydrator. You can see it's cracked a little bit in places, just like it kind of does when you cook it in the oven. Now I'm going to put some of this on that I just blended up. This is the avocado mix, and I'm just gonna spread some on here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna just coat the whole thing in it or just put some dots of it on yet. I'm just gonna see how it goes, I guess, see how much I've got really. But yeah, I just thought this will add a really nice layer. Basil always seems to go so good in lasagna. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish putting this on top, and then I'll either show you when I finish doing this, or I'll show you when I've got it plated up. So yeah, I'm just gonna carry on finishing this. I'm not gonna bore you as I cook the whole thing in it. And then I'll come back to you in a little while. Okay, so here you go. I decided just to cover the whole thing in the avocado basil, and then I've topped it with some of the dried tomatoes I had left. And I'm just going to show you some of the layers. You see the layers there. So you've got the kind of the meat sauce with the, you can see some of the squash that I used like as a pasta replacement, and then the creamy sauce with some more meat sauce, and avocado on top. But yeah, so I'm going to try attempt to plate this up now, and I'll see how that comes out, and I'll let you know if everyone enjoyed it. Okay, so I wanted to do one last quick video before I serve this up for everyone. Here you go, I've got it all on the plate stand. It's not the prettiest looking because I don't have time to mess around too much because I've got everyone waiting to eat this food. But yeah, you ready to eat, Riplin?
No.
You ready to eat, Riplin?
No.
Yeah? You want the food?
No. Food.
Yeah? Food?
No.
Okay, so I'll let you know how everyone enjoyed it. Okay, so having eaten this, some things we realized we would do differently next time is I probably won't do the butternut squash because the butternut squash was a little chewier than we wanted. So next time I make a raw lasagna, I'm going to probably use a different type of squash, one of the softer types. Can't think what it's called. There's one that's more like zucchini anyway. And then the other thing is I probably won't add the avocado topping. The avocado topping tasted great, but I would prefer to do more of the creamy sauce on top next time, just because I think it makes it taste more like an authentic lasagna. Although my daughter will be disappointed because she did love the avocado topping. So that's everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.